Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we're back on the Drone Age dev server and it's time to have a look at another new vehicle that is coming to the game. This is a premium vehicle coming in for Sweden, the CV90-105 XC-8. But this is coming in a very different way compared to a lot of other vehicles. So this is not being added as an addition to the tech tree. This is actually being added to replace a vehicle that already exists. So if you are the owner of a CV90-105 TML, which is the premium 9.0 Swedish vehicle, what you'll find after next update is it will have been replaced with the CV90-105 XC-8. So, and if you want to buy the pack in the future, that'll exist, it will have the XC-8 in it, it will not have the TML in it. The reason for this is because the TML actually is a historical in the way that it is implemented in the game. So Gaijin are replacing it for a vehicle that is more historical in the way that it is set up. So if you already have the TML, if you already have it in the game, you will just get this one and the TML will cease to exist on your account. So they are just doing a direct replacement between the two vehicles. The CV90-105 XC-8 has the 105mm L50 cannon, and attached to this cannon it actually has quite a nifty autoloader. So you get a 5-second reload with this thing, with a first stage ammo stowage of 10 pieces, which are all sat up here in this ammo basket or ammo elevator, which I'm sure just punches the rounds into the breech itself. So 5-second 105mm with great gun depression and also great thermals, good turret rotation speed, and a bunch of other really nice things for the good old Swedish. The crew is only a 3-man crew, so if you pop the turret then the thing dies, but you can see that the crew is actually sat pretty low in the turret, so if you shoot around the breech, your only hope is really hitting the ammo in the back and not actually hitting the crew members. You also have the driver here, so the kill shot is kind of in this area, but just like the other CV90, this thing has a bunch of like little pieces of armor everywhere, and also it has extreme angles on this upper glacis, which means that you can ricochet shots quite easily. So shooting for the lower glacis is generally what I personally do, or if I have a side shot I go for here, so I hit the driver and also the commander, which is sat here. The vehicle does have, or should have, access to commander controls. It doesn't have right now, I'm sure it will in the future, and it has a beefy 670 horsepower engine running at 2200 RPM. The vehicle is 25 ton, so it is pretty beefy, but also with the beefy engine it will be able to be very mobile, and it only has a coaxial 7.62, so if helicopters decide to come in, or if you get attacked by planes or something, it's going to be quite hard to defend yourself unless you are going to use the main gun. And the main gun has pretty good elevation, so maybe you could do that, but I feel like most people who are using this vehicle are going to be focused on going after ground vehicles. It does have smoke grenades as well on the vehicle itself, which fire all around it, so very similar to a lot of other vehicles that we see, which is really nice. And even though it doesn't have a lot of armor, it does have some weird angles where stuff will ricochet off, and the round that this gun uses is of course the DM33. DM33 being the basic standard good round for 105mm. Many of them nowadays have it around this BR, only really to be outshone by a few others, such as the Type 93 round from the Japanese. It also has a bunch of other nice stuff, so it has the gunner thermals and also tank commander thermals, so if you're a person who likes the commander view and scouting with it, this will be very useful for you. It does have the scouting mechanics and the LWS LR, and also, since it has the scouting stuff, it means it also gets the new UAV drone that you can kind of fly around and have a bit of fun with. So there's also that moving around the place. Everything else is pretty bog standard on it, but it's always nice having the LWS with something with mobility, because it means once the ping starts going, you can move very quickly and rapidly instead of just kind of sat there waiting to take the hit. So DM33, definitely the way to go. This is a premium, so it means that you will get the DM33 standard, just like you get all of the modifications that exist when it comes to the machine as well. So You know, it's one of the big perks of actually having a premium and using it. And at 9.3, it is slightly higher than the TML, but it won't make too much of a difference with its matchmaking, because if I'm honest with you, I was taking the TML up to 10.0 anyway, because the lineups for Sweden around these BRs are really kind of dodgy. So at 9.0 you got the STR V105, at 9.3 you got the STRF 9040B, and then at all of the other BRs you have the Bill at 10.0, the STRF 9040C at 10.0, and the STR V121 at 10.0. And the LVRBV as well, and the LVKV as well. So 10.0 is the strong BR for Sweden. 9.0 or 9.3 is kind of an odd one. So in order to carry the lineup, running something like this CV90-105 is not a bad idea. You can run it plus the VEEC and then plus the STRF 9040B or the STR V105, and you can have a fantastic time running around the place and just doing well. And then try and back it up with some pretty poor aircraft. The only one which kind of fits well is the A32A, and as a ground striker, I suppose you can use it, but unless you are very good with the rockets or very good with the bombs, it's going to be a little bit hard to use. But at least the bombs are 600 kilos and they have a good amount of explosive mass, so you can kind of annihilate stuff as it goes around. So maybe 9.3 will fit it better because of the CAS element and being able to get into it from the CV90-105. So this is a better version of the TML, and the TML was already a fantastic vehicle in its own right. It had pretty much everything you would want from a premium. It had good thermals, it had good mobility, it had decent survivability, and also it had some decent other things to it as well. They're also going to adapt, I believe, the skin from the other CV90 to this one, the XC-8, the market skins. We'll have to see how that goes with it. And you can see, like, with the dual drive that it has, with the turret rotation that it has, with the smoke grenades in the back there that you can see, it fires them off in 4s, so it doesn't fire them off in 2s, which kind of sucks, but overall it's not too bad. And then it has the Gen 2, or maybe even the Gen 3 thermals on this thing, which are really nice, and also for the commander as well, so you can scout stuff, or you can direct fire aim mode with it, and then use it to, you know, attack people with. I think overall, you know, that's a really nice feature of this vehicle, and kind of the same feature that's on the TML as well. You know, there's always going to be questions from people about, is it fair that you bought one product and you basically got it replaced with another one? And I think in this case I'm kind of fine with it, because the vehicle is not inherently worse. I feel like you are getting a better product from this compared to the TML, and also it means that Gaijin can stick to what they class as like their standards going forward when it comes to the whole vehicles being non-fiction and all of this general idea. It also doesn't mean that the TML is done. It doesn't mean that it will disappear from the good old limelight. Maybe the TML comes back in a tech tree form, just in a slightly different variant, you know, with not all of its bells and whistles. Maybe it could do something like that. But as a replacement, this one is definitely worthy. And with extra little things that it can bring along, such as the little drone and things like that, overall, it's overall I think people will enjoy this. It's just the Swedish tech tree has so many cool lineups and so many little oddities and so many fun things to it, and I hope that more and more people end up playing it. And if they have to put in vehicles like this to kind of try and incentivize people to play them, then I'm all for it, because there's just so many wonderful experiences with their light tanks, especially to enjoy with. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Nicholas Richardson, Elove Goat, Pyman675, Winter Scientist, Merciless Reaper, Jerry Prevolt, Megadino King, Orange Tail, Teddy, John Ryman, Universe, Ambrosius McClellan, Daniel Stanton, Moxie, B. Young, Uncle Bean, Sem Arslan, Derek R., Bareen, Lafouche, and Samuel Slick. for supporting the channel.